Now, from the Super Doppler 10 Weather Center, this is a severe weather alert.
All right, we've been talking about the chance for a quick spin-up tornado through the morning hours, and that's what we have now. A tornado warning in effect for parts of the city of Suffolk and also parts of Isle of Wight. Now, this tornado warning is for a storm that's moving north here. It'll be heading towards areas near Smithfield as we go over the next 20 to 30 minutes. It's in effect for a little under 30 minutes. It's 6:38 now as we start off this tornado warning coverage. This warning goes until 7 a.m. As Brendan kind of draws the storm track on, Brendan's our summer weather intern helping us out here this morning. We'll put the storm track around Longview at 6:47, Muddy Cross around 6:51, Smithfield 6:56, and the Lawson area very close to 7 o'clock. That's kind of right here on the northern portion of the kind of area of Isle of Wight. We look at the rotational signature with this, and what we're looking for is that area of green and red together. Now keep in mind, this is a tropical tornado, so most times when you look at these signatures, they're not going to look as impressive as they would perhaps with a summertime thunderstorm. But right here, just to the west of Kings Fork, that's where the rotational signature would be. So let's zoom in a little bit tighter here, see if we can pick off a couple more communities. The Myrtle community right along 460 is where this rotation would be. And here's Kings Fork Road as it comes in from the east. Red Top is over here into parts of the city of Suffolk. We go west to Kings Fork. This is north of the downtown area of Suffolk and kind of in the more northwestern portion of Suffolk. But you notice Myrtle's there, Indica, Everett's Road, Everett's Community, and Lake Prince Drive. So these are the areas where that rotation is being detected right now. And as the storm moves off towards the north pretty quickly, Everett's Road, you're going to be in the path of this very soon. A new scan just came in. You'll notice a little bit more red showing up here, which tells me that there's still a decent rotational signature with this as this storm moves off towards the north. Brandon, let's see if we can loop this. And as we do so, what you'll notice with this system is, let's slow it down for a second. And so what I'm trying to do here is kind of just get the trajectory. So it is moving north. So let's zoom in a little bit tighter once again. And I kind of wanted to see if the storm is going to go to the west of Chuckatuck or get close. I really can't give Chuckatuck an all clear from this system yet. Sometimes we can notice it's going a little bit further west, but this one is moving just far enough north that I think Chuckatuck still needs to be making sure you are weather aware and perhaps heading to your safe place here in the next little bit. Let's talk about where that safe place is. If you're not familiar with tornadoes, if you're not familiar with where you should go, the safest place during a tornado warning is that lowest floor. Why? Well, the lower you get, the less the winds usually are. That hallway, bathroom, or closet is the best place to be in the event of a tornado because most of the time those are kind of the center part of your home. A bathroom is sometimes good even if it's on the exterior portion of your home and you don't have any other interior room, because that is a spot that sometimes has a little bit more insulation, pipes, things like that can protect you from any type of flying debris. Speaking of flying debris, what's the thing you can do to protect yourself from that? Well, cover your head with pillows, blankets, or a helmet. I know it sounds a little bit silly, right? Why would you go put on a helmet? Well, think about it. You put on a helmet when you're playing sports or when you're riding a bike or riding a motorcycle to protect yourself from any type of head trauma. Same kind of deal with tornadoes. Tornadoes pick things up, they throw them around in the air, and as a result, we can sometimes get these things flying through the air that can hit you, and we want to protect your head at all costs. So that's kind of the idea there with wearing a helmet. It's been proven through scientific studies to really help reduce the injuries in tornadoes. If you are in these areas and you want to turn up that TV audio, that's an option as well. That way you can make sure you can hear us even if you're going to be away in that safe place when we give you the all clear. Also keep in mind, we'll try to get our live stream going, and if Aisha or Lauren can do me a favor and we'll check with our digital team and see if they are streaming this on our online platforms as well, I'd appreciate that. All right, Brendan, let's go back to the radar here and we'll kind of give a picture of what's going on once again. So just to the west of Kings Fork, let's look at the velocity product, which is what we're showing now. And then once again, here's where the rotation is. Let's go back in time a little bit. Earlier when you were looping it, what kind of caught my attention is how the rotational signature really peaked just to the south there of Kings Fork. And that's what likely caused the Weather Service to issue the warning here. If we stop this and then you kind of scrub along with that time bar, there we go. So there's Loomis. Let's watch the rotational signature. So together we can kind of look and analyze this. It was slightly stronger earlier, right about there. That's where it peaked. That's when the Weather Service popped off the tornado warning for this. Then as it got a little bit further north, it's become a little bit more broad. However, these tornadoes and these tropical cyclones can really cycle pretty quickly. So we want to make sure we're keeping ourselves aware of where this possible rotation would be and making sure we respect it as it moves to the north. So let's put a storm track on this this, moving up to the north here around 35 to 40 miles per hour. And with that track, we're taking it into the areas near Longview at 645, Muddy Cross 649, 655 into Smithfield, Battery Park 657, and the Mogarts Beach area around 7 o'clock. Now, something to keep in mind too, it is currently 6:42. as I speak to you here on air. If you're watching us on Hulu or YouTube TV, there may be a little bit of a delay from the time you hear me say that to the time you actually get it, because of kind of how the delay works with this Hulu and YouTube TV streaming system. Even on cable, there's about a minute delay sometimes in what we actually say and by the time it gets to you. So keep that in mind when we give you these times of arrivals and where we say the storm is. If we say it's close to you, don't wait till the last possible second. Something else to keep in mind today. First off, this morning, if you looked outside even earlier, the clouds are pretty low, which means it's going to be very hard to see this rotation or any type of tornado as it tries to work its way north and east. Because the clouds are so low, there's a lot of moisture in the air. There's a pretty good chance this is what we call a rain-wrapped tornado. With that, I mean that what's happening here is that basically the tornado will be obscured by rain. You won't see anything at all. All you'll see is kind of just a wall of water heading your direction, and then you never even see the funnel or anything like that. So keep that in mind. Not worth kind of going outside and making your way across the region. Also, if you're going to be coming across the JRB here in the next little bit, Madison, if you could pull up our JRB camera on our webcam computer, we may be able to get a sight of this storm as it's kind of in the distance there. But if you're going to be coming across the JRB in the next little bit, the Bartlett area, maybe stop there. Don't go any further west into Smithfield or into the areas west of there, because this tornado signature is going to be getting close. Let's zoom out a little bit, Brendan, as well. And what I want to do is kind of give you a long-term heads up, all right? So let's give you a perspective on where everything is. Here's Suffolk, here's Isle of Wight. The possible tornado signature is about to move into Isle of Wight, and then it'll be heading towards the peninsula. So here's Fort Eustis. The airport in Newport News is about right here. City of Hampton's here. There's where downtown Newport News is, and the JRB comes across right through here. Up here is CNU. So if this storm were to continue on that trajectory and stay together and stay strong and have some rotation, we'd likely see this warning extended into the peninsula, including a decent part of Newport News, part of York County, may clip the western portion here of Poquoson, but I think for the most part, you'll probably stay to the west or to the east of this storm. But the general idea would be for this to track that direction, north and east, into that region. So we'll keep an eye on this system, but right now the main concern is across the state, the county line there with Isle of Wight and the city of Suffolk. So let's zoom back into there. Actually, since we had it wide and we were talking about those areas, let's go back wide for a second, Brendan, and let's draw a big storm track. I want to take this all the way into the peninsula if we can, and we'll give you an estimated time of arrival for that region. It'd be about 30 to 35 minutes for moving into that area, but Smithfield 6:54, CNU at 7:05, Denbigh 7:09, Newport News Park 7:16, and Gloucester Point around 7:23. So that's kind of your long-term heads up, as I like to say, for this possible storm moving into the area. All right, so Madison tells me we have our JRB camera up, so I'm going to step off here and we'll try to load it up and see what it looks like. And what I'm going to do here is we kind of work our way through everything together here this morning, is look at the camera and see if anything kind of jumps out of us. Because cameras are some of the best ways we can show what's going on in the weather across the region. So let me pull up the right camera here, and we'll get it up on the screen, and then we'll kind of turn this and see if we can pick off anything. And once again, I don't think we're probably going to see much because of the issues today with a very low amount of cloud cover, clouds being very low to the ground. We're looking a little bit north of where that storm would be right now, and then we're going to point our camera back kind of more towards where the storm would be. And as we look that way, you're not seeing anything that, you know, we sometimes would see in the summer, like a very well-organized area of a lowering or something like that. But what I'm going to do is kind of just pan around a bit here and see if we pick off anything that jumps out at me. Something else we look for a lot of times, especially the nighttime when these storms move through, are power flashes. And we're not seeing any of those either. What happens with power flashes is basically the storm goes out and then it hits a transformer, hits a power line. You see like a flash, a little blue flash that pops up. So we're not seeing that right now, which is good news, but we continue to keep an eye on where this rotation is, just to the west of Chuckatuck now and into the areas near Longview and Muddy Cross. So let's do a little bit of analysis off the screen here too. I'm going to look at one of the other products that I can look at and make sure we don't have any type of debris or anything like that, and kind of look at where the rotation is. Moving north at 40 miles per hour, so we'll make sure the storm track is good and updated to that speed. it is. And once again, we'll put a longer storm track on. So Brendan, I'll let you continue to kind of run the radar here as I get back in front of the screen. But once again, we'll put an estimated storm track on this as it moves off towards the north. So if you're just joining us, 6:47, you're kind of tuning into our newscast maybe before you step out the door and head off to work or wherever you're heading this morning. Here's what we got going on. Here's why we're talking long form. You're not seeing Aisha or seeing Lauren this morning or any traffic updates because we have this tornado warning that's in effect here for parts of Isle of Wight. I can give Suffolk the all clear now. Suffolk's fine. The storm has moved north of you. But Isle of Wight, that's where we have to watch for this rotation to continue to make its way northward into the Longview area in just about a couple of minutes. Muddy Cross here around 6:52, Smithfield 6:58, Lawson 7:01, and then once we make our way across the James River into areas near Fort Eustis and near CNU, we're talking closer to 7:09. I live in Newport News. This is going to get relatively close to my house. My house is a little bit east of CNU. So we'll keep a close eye on this too and see if I have to text my wife and tell her to get in her safe spot this morning with our dog, who's probably already there as we start off the morning here with a tornado warning across the region. So here's what we got going on. One tornado warning in effect. Let's give a wide picture, Brendan, of everything that's going on because we do have a couple other areas of rain and storms ongoing. So let's switch over to the reflectivity or just the rain, and we'll show you what's going on across the rest of the region. There's not much, all right? If you're watching us from Norfolk, watching us from Virginia Beach, yeah, there's a few areas of rain out there, but nothing too intense moving through, some downpours. The bigger areas of rain are further south into parts of Camden County and then further north, further south from there, into Elizabeth City, into parts of Pasquotank, Perquimans County, and then further south into the Albemarle. That will continue to make its way north, so that will eventually move into Chesapeake and could impact parts of Norfolk. But the main concern right now is obviously where that tornado warning is, because that's the area that could have some problems with a possible tornado. So zooming back into that, let's once again switch to our velocity product and see what we have going on. Still a pretty decent radar signature of a possible tornado there. So to give you perspective once again of where this would be, here's the James River Bridge, all right? You take that JRB, across from Newport News into Isle of Wight, and you make that turn there into that area right where they're building the Publix into Bartlett and the gas station they're building there. Then you'll make your way towards Benz Grant Boulevard, and eventually that would take you towards the Smithfield area and towards Smithfield Station. Well, this storm is just to the north of Chuckatuck right now. It'll be continuing to make its way towards that region. So the Bartlett area heads up right where that road comes in too, heads up. You make that turn there where they're building the new hospital there in Isle of Wight County. That's an area where this tornado could be moving very soon. So Longview, about a minute or two before it moves over you, and then Muddy Cross, we've got about 4 to 5 minutes, and then eventually if it continues on the same path, right there at the intersection of Route 10, Nike Park, Smith's Neck Road, Battery Park in the distance here could be in line for this possible tornado. You can see the box flashing, and what they've done here is, as we kind of talked about a minute ago, we've given the all clear to Suffolk. So if you're in Suffolk, that warning has now been dropped for you, and now it's just Isle of Wight that's under that warning. It goes for about another 10 minutes, so we'll see if the Weather Service decides they need to reissue this tornado warning or even extend it into the peninsula. Based off this radar signature right now, I wouldn't be surprised if they do extend it into the peninsula. And so let's, I'm going to step off here and I'm going to look at one of our systems we have where we can kind of chat with the National Weather Service and see if they're putting any information in there. And as I do that, not seeing anything extra information or anything coming across. So we'll keep an eye on that and see if we get any extra information, but nothing to speak of right now. So what we have is our radar signatures. And let's kind of, once again, zoom in a little bit close and try to give you a few more roads and a few more communities here that could be impacted by this. So there's Brewers Neck Road once again, there's Turner Drive, Carrollton Parkway is off on the right-hand side of your screen there where Bartlett is. Nike Park Road, Turner Drive, as I mentioned. This is Scotts Ferry Road up on the north, kind of west side of your screen, the top right side of your screen here. And then we've got a few more roads that we can put on here. Battery Park Road. That's going to be Smith's Neck Road, Old Stage Highway into the Smithfield area. That's where this rotation would be moving. So let's draw a storm track on this. And if you've been watching for about 10 minutes now, you're probably saying, he's kind of saying the same thing. Well, yes, I am. One, because storms kind of evolve and move, but also because people tune in at different times. You may get your alert on your cell phone at different times, and so people come and go when tornado warnings are issued. So that's why sometimes it sounds like we're saying the same thing over and over, but the information you've already heard, someone else may be hearing for the first time. So that's why we like to kind of repeat ourselves and make sure everyone gets the newest information as it comes in. So with the new storm track that just came in here, heading towards areas along Route 10 and 258, shortly, Nike Park 658, Battery Park 701, Aberdeen Field 704, and Mogards Beach around 705 would be the estimated track of this storm. Let's go back to that JRB camera and we'll see if we can pick off anything once again with that. It's likely going to look kind of just cloudy this morning, but as the storm gets a little bit closer, it may show a little bit more in terms of something of interest if we can pick off anything. And so the storm, based off of where it would be right now, would be a little, I think, to the right of this shot. So there's where the JRB is. So I'm going to turn the camera just a little bit to the right. Once again, if you're familiar with the road you come across with the JRB, this takes you towards the Bartlett area. And then we'd be looking kind of more off towards the west of there. So in our camera perspective, looking from Newport News, it'd be off towards the right-hand side of your screen is where that image would be coming in from. So you can kind of see a little definition of a shape there in the clouds. Nothing that jumps out at me as like a, organized area of severe weather or an organized area of like a funnel cloud or a wall cloud, but you can kind of see a little definition there in the clouds as this makes its way towards Newport News. Now, if this comes across the river, we're going to be looking kind of up the river here, up towards the north and west, kind of in this direction, and we'll see if we can pick off anything in the distance. But as we kind of talked about a minute ago, this is likely a rain-wrapped storm, which means it is incredibly hard, if not impossible, to see any type of funnel or anything like that as a result of the rain basically wrapping around where the circulation is with this storm. So with that, you're not going to see a whole lot. Most tornadoes in our region are what we refer to as rain-wrapped. And basically a rain-wrapped tornado is just a tornado that looks like a wall of water approaching them. You can't really see too much with it. In addition, with this being a tropical cyclone, those tropical cyclone tornadoes often spin up quickly. They're kind of hard to spot, and oftentimes they appear a little bit weaker as rotation on radar. And that's what I think we have going on this morning with this storm that's moving across parts of Isle of Wight. So giving you a perspective once again of where this is now approaching the Benz Grant Boulevard area, Brewers Neck Road, and it'll be approaching Nike Park and Battery Park here shortly as it continues to kind of make its way to the north and east at around 40 miles per hour. So put a storm track on this once again and see where we have the rotation and see what communities are going to be in the path. Giving you an updated time: Peninsula Christian School 656, Smithfield High School 656 as well, Battery Park 702, the Aberdeen Field area 704, and Mogards Beach around 705. A new radar scan just came in there. To me, it looks about the same as what it did before. Yeah, nothing's changed too much on that. So we'll continue with that tornado warning for about another 5 minutes, and we'll see once again if the Weather Service decides to extend this or if they're going to decide to let it expire. I really don't have a thought on which way it's going to go now with kind of how it looks. I think they may allow it to expire, but we'll see if they decide to continue this into the peninsula or not. And if so, we'd be talking about areas of Newport News that would be kind of in the area of interest for where this tornado warning would probably be reissued. So we'll wait to see what the Weather Service does, and in the meantime, we'll kind of just watch it together and see if it looks like it pulses back up or not. Sometimes these storms can do that. Sometimes they look a little weaker. Sometimes they look a little stronger, and then kind of they can cycle pretty quickly. That's something that supercell thunderstorms do. Basically, in supercell thunderstorms, this entire storm is spinning, and so as a result, just like you may be spinning around in circles or like a figure skater spins around in circles, well, eventually they get tired, right? Same kind of thing for a thunderstorm. Eventually it gets a little tired, takes a bit of a break, and then it spins itself back up again. And sometimes we can see that rotation cycle kind of up and down over time with the storm. So with a few minutes left before this tornado warning expires, we'll continue to keep an eye on it here. But as we kind of look at where it is right now, let's zoom back in a little bit tighter, Brendan, on where the main rotation would be, just the kind of south and west there of Nike Park. Here's Benz Grant Boulevard, Muddy Cross, Smithfield. I do believe this is going to kind of stay to the east of where you are located. It'll probably stay a little bit further east from Smithfield, but Battery Park and Nike Park, that rotation will get pretty close to you here over the next little bit of time. as it continues to make its way off towards the north at around 30 to 35 miles per hour. So a new radar scan came in, and remember, radar is an instant in time. So when this radar scan came in, it's already about a minute delayed. So it puts it right close to Nike Park right now, right along Battery Park Road, and then it'll be continuing on its way. So radar is a snapshot in time. The storm doesn't stop. It keeps moving. So as that happens, this is continuing now north and east towards Batteries Park and getting closer kind of to the line there, or the coastline, I should say, with the James River. So once again, let's zoom out wide, Brendan, and we'll kind of reset everything here as we get closer to 7 o'clock. One tornado warning in effect for our region. That tornado warning continues for another couple of minutes. There are a few more showers and storms across parts of the south side here into the South Mills area, further south into Elizabeth City. There's also a little area of rain that is moving across parts of Virginia Beach. But elsewhere, we are relatively rain-free. Some rain north and west of there into the Williamsburg area. No severe weather associated with any of those storms other than the one we're tracking across Isle of Wight. And nothing across the eastern shore. Let's even go further south. Let's go all the way down to the Outer Banks here and show you what's going on there, because we do have some viewers that watch us towards Hatteras, and I get messages all the time from folks in Rodanthe and Avon. Nothing to speak of there this morning. We have a couple showers across the Pamlico Sound that are trying to make their way to the east-northeast, but those are continuing to kind of just not get too intense. It's this little band here that has some heavier rain associated with it, moving across the Albemarle Sound and into Pasquotank County. We're keeping an eye on, and of course that one tornado warning, which continues for about another 2 minutes here into parts of Isle of Wight. So let's zoom back in and see if the rotation looks any stronger or weaker here from what it did just a minute ago. And as we look at that, it still looks about the same as what it did a minute or two ago to me. Nothing really jumping out at me as a major area rotation, but still some broad rotation likely with this as we kind of track it. I'm going to pop up the JRB camera again just to see what that looks like and see if it looks like anything is showing up there as we kind of look now to the north. And you can definitely see there is some darker areas on the camera screen there. Not sure if we're really seeing anything too related to the storm. You can see how small of a storm it is. Look at the blue sky behind it here. And then the actual thunderstorm, or the rotational area, is right in through here. So I'm going to zoom in a little bit closer. We'll zoom in kind of to where that power line is and see if we can pick off anything. There is a little area here. I know it's kind of hard to see on the screen of kind of how the camera comes together, but there's a little area here where it looks like there may be a touch of a lowering, but nothing that's kind of jumping out as an immediate area of strong rotation that we can see, at least on our camera here. So as we approach 7 o'clock, here's what we're going to do. For the folks in the back, that tornado warning has been allowed to expire. So in a moment, we're going to return to our regular newscast on Fox 43, and then we will join the Today Show in progress on NBC in just a minute. So just to recap everything of what's been going on, we had one tornado warning that was issued for Suffolk and Isle of Wight. That has been allowed to expire. There are still some showers and storms moving across the area, though. So as we continue here with our newscast on Fox 43, we'll give you more updates on that and what you can expect as we go through the rest of the morning. Maddie will also have an update on traffic, and of course we'll have your news headlines from overnight coming up in just a minute.
Now from